What's up, guys, and welcome back into Breaking Boards. In today's episode, we're going to break down Thursday Night Football's showdown contest between the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to take on the New York Giants. This game total currently sits at 40.5, with the implied team total for Philadelphia being 24.5, and the implied team total for the Giants being 16.5. Sorry, I'm a bit still under the weather currently here, but hopefully you guys can bear with me through the video. Before we jump into the video, I do want to take a second to comb through what's available for you on the site. So on your screen, you'll see a QR code. If you scan that, it'll take you over to my site. And if you go to shop, I will have the next two items that I'm going to talk about listed for you to purchase for Thursday Night Football. Or you can take a million screenshots and be that type of person that likes to just steal the content. But again, if you'll jump over to the shop on the site, you will have availability to Thursday Night Football's breakdown. You'll be able to make corrections if you want, or input your own projections into the model and see what it spits out for you guys. So that is available if it's something that you are interested in. And moving forward, this stuff will be available for main slates and each showdown slate. As we take a look at things here, I think column A, B, and C are pretty much self-explanatory. If you look at column D, that's injuries. If the column is green or if it has an H, that means the player is healthy. If you see a Q, that means they are questionable. If you were to see a P, that means they are probable. And we likely don't see those that often in the NFL. If you look at the matchup column here, that's just the player, or the team that they're playing against. If you look at column F, that's the game total, which we discussed in the opening. If you look at G, it's team total. H and I, both self-explanatory. If you look at J, this is going to be my flex ownership. I have built 1,000 lineups, and this is what my optimizer has spit out. I will say that I have put together groups so that whenever these, ownership percentages come out, this is actually what I'm going to look at getting to. So I've already input my groups. I've already input all my information in the optimizer as to what I want to see on the backside. My variability, all that kind of stuff has gone into this, and this is what comes out. So for Thursday night, I'm looking to get to about 45% of Jalen Hurts in the flex position. If you look at the column next to it, captain, same thing as the flex, obviously just with captain ownership. Captain projection here is my projection times 1.5, because you get 1.5 times the points if you play a player in the captain slot. Flex projection is the actual in-game projection for me for each player. Floor projection is 10% of the flex position projection. This is what I would say would be the absolute lowest that these players could score on the game. Ceiling projection is something that's quite important to me as well. If you are building, let's say 100 lineups in the flagship, what I typically do is I'll run about 50% with my flex projection in the optimizer, and then I will maneuver it over to build the final 50 with ceiling projections, taking into account for that game, because we want to be building for first place if we're entering tournaments. Taking a look at things here as we scroll over. Sorry, your screen's moving, but you have a bust column here for the flex. You have a boom for the flex. Both these things pretty much self-explanatory here again. Green means that they are less likely to bust, and more likely to boom. Same thing here for the captain spot. As you look at leverage, lower the number is a worse play in parentheses, right? The lower the number, the less likely you are to get leverage on them. So not necessarily that they are a bad play, just that they are going to be more owned on the slate. So if you find a guy here that you like that has a green leverage, someone you might want to be over the field on. Anytime that you see yellow, kind of means they're just in the middle. I'll look to match the field if it's an ownership type of thing. As you see here on Dallas Goedert in the captain spot, I assume the field comes in somewhere in the 4 to 6% range on Goddard. I have him at 5, so I'll be right about the field on him. So that is one of the things that you're going to be purchasing for that $4.99 price tag. Again, if you go in and you want to make changes, if you want to say that Jalen Hurts scores 26.5, you can make those changes, and it will input automatically all these other outputs for Thursday Night Football. So that is item number one that will be on sale on the site for Thursday Night Football. If this is something that you are interested in purchasing. The second item that you would be purchasing if you make the purchase over on the site, again, if you want to go visit the site, scan the QR code on your screen, or I will put the link down in the description of the video. Go over to the site, check out some articles I've written. If you go to shop, you will find both of these Excel sheets that I've put together for you for Thursday Night Football. Taking a look here, pretty much self-explanatory. You have your position here, and you have your core plays, your GPPs or players I'll try to be over the field on. Solid guys I'm going to match the field on. And the avoid players are players I'm going to have, around 1% or less than 1% on for Thursday night. And we break it down by position: QBs, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defenses, and kickers. So if that's something that you're going to look to purchase, both these items will be listed together for each showdown slate. If you want to purchase each of these for the main slate, they will be broken into two separate purchases. So that I wanted to give you an idea of what you would be, again, purchasing if you want to get those things headed into Thursday Night Football. So that's kind of what you're looking at buying if you want to make those purchases. Anything that you do purchase helps out the channel a ton, and it helps me to be able to continue to put these videos out for you guys. So everything is appreciated. Thanks for just being here. If you are getting something out of the content, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and we're about to jump into the player-by-player breakdown for Thursday Night Football. First up on the Philly side, you have Jalen Hurts. Along with Jalen Hurts, if you have him in the captain, you can go with Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. You can get the Eagles defense in there, the kicker, Elliott. You could get Shipley, to a lesser extent, A.J. Dillon. Alcantara, you can get him in there. He is questionable for Thursday night. Not sure if he's going to play. If he does it, you just bump Kylie Granson's projection up just slightly, and you could bump Dallas Goedert as well. John Mechie, someone who's seeing the field a decent amount as well. And that's going to do it for the players in your Jalen Hurts captain lineup. I do like Hurts quite a bit. He is my favorite player on the board. I would imagine it's pretty much predominantly going to be the Philly side that I prefer to get to. If I were building 5-1 onslaughts, it would be from the Philly side. Predominantly, if I'm going to build 4-2, it's going to be from the Philly side, although I will match a couple of Giants 4-2s in there as well. Don't mind 3-3s from the Philly side also. If you're building a 4-2 Giants, I'll probably have Saquon in the captain along with another player. If I'm building 4-2 Philly, I prefer Jalen Hurts in the captain. But for the Hurts teams, that's kind of what we're looking at. You can mix and match those players that we talked about here at the bottom. Mechie, Dotson, Dillon, Shipley, those kind of players. You can mix and match those guys in large field. But if I'm playing small field, I'm going Jake Elliott, Goddard, Smith, A.J. Brown, and Saquon in my Hurts captain lineups. As we look over at the running back position, you have Saquon Barkley, you have Will Shipley, and you have A.J. Dillon. To start the season, Barkley's seen about 70% of the snap shares for Philly. They did cut back on him a little bit last week, and he said he had some soreness coming out of last week's game. So keep an eye on that as we head into Thursday night. I imagine he plays about 70% still on Thursday, and you see the other 30% cut up between Shipley and A.J. Dillon. If Barkley were to be limited, you're going to see Dillon in the goal line type of workload, and you'll see Will Shipley carrying everything between the 20s. On a full PPR site such as DraftKings, I would prefer Shipley over Dillon. If we were playing on FanDuel, I would prefer Dillon to Shipley. But for me, A.J. Dillon's pretty much going to be a dart throw on DraftKings. Will Shipley, someone I don't mind mixing in. Doesn't really matter the field size. If you have a lineup you love, with $4,400 left, I don't mind getting him in the flex in any kind of field. Although I would say I prefer the kickers and defenses that are slightly priced above him, and there are also some New York Giants pass catchers who are going to be priced a little bit cheaper, who I prefer to Will Shipley. Not going to get any Shipley in the captain or A.J. Dillon in the captain. We'll have quite a bit of Saquon in the captain spot. Again, if you want to know exactly how much, go check out those articles we talked about. We'll look to be over the field on Saquon in the captain and then the flex as we head into Thursday night, given his ceiling compared to other players. If you do have Saquon up top, you don't have to get Hurts. You can. I wouldn't shy away from it. It wouldn't be something I would be trying to force in there as well. Looking at the wide receiver position, there's primarily only four for Philly. You have A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith, you have Jahan Dotson, and you have John Mechie. John Mechie would be large field dart throw GPPs for me only, no captain ownership. No captain ownership on Dotson. Don't mind looking at him kind of in a similar light of Will Shipley. Although, if you do have Dotson in your lineup and you happen to play him in the captain, ensure that you have Hurts in the flex. I will not do so, but I don't mind mixing in Dotson and the flex in my Hurts captain lineups only. Devonta Smith is someone who would be kind of a fringe core play for me. He would be my second favorite pass catcher for Philadelphia here. Don't mind mashing the field on Devonta Smith. I will have some in the captain. I will have some in the flex. If you have him in the captain, make sure you have Hurts in those lineups. AJ Brown, someone I'm probably going to be a little bit over the field on. I do think this is one of those situations where the squeaky wheel is going to get the grease. And I think they're going to look to get the ball more into AJ Brown's hands as they tried to last week. Didn't really happen so much in week number 5, but I do think they try to get there in week number 6. So I will be over the field in the captain spot and in the flex on AJ Brown. If you have him in the captain spot, make sure you have Hurts in the flex. As we move over to the tight end position, you have Dallas Goedert, and then you have Grant Calcaterra, and you have Kylan Granson. Not sure, is Granson really priced? I think he's like 400, right? Why am I missing Granson? Anyways, yeah, 200. All right. So Granson will be large field dart throw for me. If you find a lineup you absolutely love with $200 left, I don't mind getting to him. He would be my favorite of the $200 guys for Philly. So don't mind mixing him in. I would have no captain ownership. Could have no captain ownership on Calcaterra. Calcaterra is one of my least favorite players on the slate altogether, given price, position, injury, all that kind of stuff. So I will be under the field on Calcaterra in the flex. If I were going to play him, it would only be in Hurts captain lineups. Dallas Goedert, I will be about the field in the captain spot and in the flex on Thursday night. Not the best matchup here for Goddard, especially given the matchup for the wide receivers. Wide receivers are in a good spot. Tight ends, not so much against the Giants, but not anything I'm scared of either. If you do have Dallas Goedert up top, I'm going to look to get to Jalen Hurts in the flex in those lineups. As we roll over to the kickers and defenses, you have Jake Elliott. You have Philly's defense. I'll be about 1% in large field GPPs in the captain spot on both these players. In the flex, I'll be around 20 to 25% on both for Thursday night. I think they're in a good spot here against the Giants. They would be my preferred top 2 options at the kicker and defense position for Thursday. As we roll on over to the New York Giants side, you have Jackson Dart, who is a bit banged up for Thursday, but I don't expect that he's going to miss Thursday night's game. If you have him in the captain spot, you could play Scatabo, you could play Wandale, you could play Tracy, who's coming back, it looks like. You could play Slayton if he plays. I am projecting Slayton to actually be out. You could play Theo Johnson. You could play, I'm not even going to try that name, the kicker. You could play the defense, Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, Bellinger, Gunner, Manhurts, and that would be where it would end on the New York Giants side. I'll be slightly under the field on Jackson Dart in the captain spot, but again, if you have him, I would pair him alongside one or two of those guys that we just talked about in the flex. As we roll over to the running back position, you have Cam Scatabo, you have Tyrone Tracy, who I do expect to play, and you have Devin Singletary. Singletary, given the price being up a little bit, given that Tracy was out, will be predominantly a flex option for me and not someone I would consider in the captain. Pretty much a large field GPP throw at 2,000, again, given the slate and given that Tracy is returning. Tracy at 7,000, I don't think he's going to come back automatically and see his full workload. I think he did lose some touches with injury to Scatabo. So I don't mind mixing Tracy in the flex. I'll have no captain ownership on him. I want to be slightly under the field on Tyrone Tracy. If the field comes in at 5%, I'll be over the field. I'll be at 6-7%. But if they come in at like 20%, I'll look to be at around 12 to 14%. So I'm going to be cautious or take it a little bit lighter than I normally would on Tyrone Tracy. This is a great spot for Scatabo. He is going to probably lose a couple more touches given that Tracy is back, but don't mind mixing him in the flex and in the captain spot as well. I'll look to be a little bit over the field in both those positions on Scatabo. I just think this is a game where they're going to need his type of intensity going against this stout Philly front, but the Philly front that's been gashed on the ground to running backs to start 2025. As we look at the pass catching options for the Giants and some of the best plays on the board, given how ugly they are, again, we can go Wandale. If Darius Slayton plays, you can play him, but I am expecting him not to play. Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, and Gunnar Uzleski, maybe is how I'm saying that. I have no clue how to truly say it, so we're just going to say Gunnar from now on. Gunnar would be someone that, again, I would try to get that $1,000 price tag in there. Don't mind him in the flex in your Jackson Dart or your Jalen Hurts lineups. If you find a lineup that you have that you love that has 1,000 in there and you want to throw him into the flex, don't mind that at all. Won't have any captain ownership on Gunnar for Thursday night. Bo Collins, one of my favorite plays on the board at $3,000. Much prefer him to that of a player like Shipley. I will have quite a bit of Bo Collins as we head into Thursday night, especially if Slayton is out. Don't mind getting over the field on Bo Collins if that's possible. I do think he'll be 20 to 25% for Thursday if Slayton is out. Same thing with Jalen Hyatt. I don't mind putting a couple of Jalen Hyatt captains in there. If I were going to do it, I would make him the MVP more than likely over on FanDuel, given that if he catches a bomb, that's exactly what it's going to be, and he is going to score 50, 60-yard touchdown, and that can win you a slate. So don't mind putting him up top. Would prefer it over on FanDuel. If you have Collins or Hyatt up top, make sure you get Dart or Hurts in the flex. Wandale Robinson, one of my favorite plays on the board, will be over the field in the captain spot and in the flex on him for Thursday night. Prefer him on DraftKings. Huge upside here in a PPR spot with really no target competition outside of Scatterbo and Theo Johnson, who we're about to talk about. Next up for the Giants, you have the tight end position, Theo Johnson. You have Daniel Bellinger, and you have Chris Manhertz. Manhertz will be a large field GPP dart throw for me, as well as Bellinger. Neither one of these guys will be in the captain spot, but we'll mix them in the flex. Theo Johnson is someone I'll have probably 1 to 3% ownership in the captain spot for Thursday night in my 150 builds. Don't mind getting to him. Prefer him in the flex. One of my favorite plays here in the flex, mixed in with like the kicker, Jake Elliott, and the Philly defense. So don't mind getting over the field on Theo Johnson in the flex. As we roll over to the kicker and the defense, you have whoever that is, and you have the Giants defense. Both these players would not consider them in the captain spot, but we'll look to mix them in around 8 to 10% in my 150 builds. Prefer to get to the Philly side on both these positions and not in love with the Giants kicker or defense for Thursday night. And that's going to do it for Thursday night's breakdown. Glad you all could join me for the video. Again, if you want to check out the content, either scan the QR code or I'll drop a link down in the description so you guys can go check out the site. If you go to shop, you'll be able to purchase the information that we talked about at the beginning of the video. Hopefully you got this far into it. If you did, again, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I do cover every NFL slate throughout the NFL season, and I'm glad you all could be here. Hopefully we take something down large on Thursday Night Football, and we'll see you guys in the next video.